Dear viewers, I welcome you to this session on parental involvement in school. This is part of course BESC 131 Education, Concept, Nature and Perspectives. In this session, I will be focusing on stakeholders of school systems, goal and purpose of stakeholders participation in school, concept, need, significance and objectives of parental involvement in school, nature and contribution of parents as a community, informal and formal involvement of parents in school, role and significance of parental involvement in school, ways in which parents can affect school positively, effects of parental involvement in school. After going through this session, you will be able to recognize the place of parents and students as main stakeholders in the school system, appreciate the goal and purpose of stakeholders participation in school, explain the concept, need and significance of parental involvement in school, discuss informal and formal forms of parental involvement in school development, describe the nature and contribution of parents as a community, discuss the role and significance of parental involvement in school, discuss the ways in which the parents can affect the school positively, analyze the positive and negative effects of parental involvement in school, appreciate the global effects of parental involvement in school and critically analyze the parental contribution to school. Now, let us look at who are all the stakeholders of education system. First and foremost are students and learners, followed by their parents and guardians, family and neighborhood, community, teachers and the staff and society at large. Main stakeholders of education system are parents and children, and if it is they who bear the burden of the defective school system, it is they who should be given a chance and support to bring about a change in the education system. The school authorities therefore should realize that parents and children hold the powerful role to initiate the process of improving school system and reversing the decline in the school system through their constructive and collective efforts in this process. Stakeholders participation and their goal and purpose. Why they participate in this school? The common goal is developing capable future generation and achieve social aims in general. That is one goal. And interface between school and parents, collaboration and cooperation is vital in developing each other, and bringing improvement is another purpose, that is in planning, administering and executing the school process, in enriching, developing and preserving community heritage, culture and resources. Similarly, parents also have their goal and purpose when they involve in school. Children's progress is the primary one. Mutual satisfaction of parents, teachers and students is involved in this, and promotion of mutual benefits, interests and development of school, parents and students is another purpose. Smooth functioning of the school and communal harmony is another goal and purpose. Combined success is the goal of school and parents. It all depends upon active involvement of parents, teachers and students. What is parental involvement in school? The parental involvement of schools can be defined as the participation in all forms by the parents in school events and activities, either scholastic or co-scholastic. Why is parental involvement in a school required? Why they should participate in a school? Because parents' involvement in school helps in bringing children to school, reducing absenteeism and dropout rate, improving students' achievement, building good rapport, trust among school and parents. restoring parents gain or confidence in their children's education through becoming a part of a school. There are many other reasons why the parental involvement in school is required, because the whole life of their wards is involved, it is at stake. So, parents cannot deny this realm and they should associate with the schooling process. The development of child cannot be done only by the teachers or the schools alone. So, parents also have to involve and they should join hands with the teachers. They all should join hands together. There is not always a win-win situation when parents involve, and parents may not always support and assist the school process. Sometimes there may be frictions. Sometimes critics make a school aware of certain tiny things, but the school may ignore them. However, the parents cannot ignore. For the school it may appear to be tiny, but for the parents it may appear more sensitive, and they are more sensitive towards their wards than the school's staff. There are different forms in which parental involvement happens in the school, and it is not new. The idea of parental involvement has been there since the concept of school came into existence, and both the parental engagement and parental involvement in schools are important in development of school and schooling process of the children. There is subtle difference between parental engagement and parental involvement that I will touch upon in course of time during this presentation. So, there are basically two forms of involvement. One is informal involvement, which is not mandatory for all, and formal involvement, which is mandatory for certain people. So, informal involvement happens in many ways, and through informal participation they will or they can render their volunteer service, and it is the volunteer service that mostly happens during informal involvement of parents. This may happen in various forms. For example, donations. Those parents who are rich, they can donate. There is no bar, nobody can prevent them. It is all informal thing, and it is up to them how much they can donate, etc. Similarly, educational and career fairs by entrepreneurs. Some of the parents may be entrepreneurs, so they can conduct fairs in the schools for educational and career fairs. And there may be some doctors who are the parents of the wards, and they can conduct health camps. So, campus employment forum can be run by some parents who are involved in this employment forums, and there may be some parents who have expertise in different fields or areas, and they can give lectures to the students at the school. And some people can render the financial help to those people who are in need of the financial help, and the contribution to infrastructure development also can be done by the parents. All these are informal ways of involving in the school by the parents. Next is formal involvement. This formal involvement of the parents in school has become mandatory after passing of the Right to Education Act, which is popularly called as the Right to Education Act. Otherwise, its full form is Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act, but it is popularly called as Right to Education Act, and it was passed in 2009. And through this, participation in school development process has been mandated by the Act, and the concepts of involvement or participation are formally capitulated in the Act, which tries to ensure the implementation of the provisions prescribed in the Act. Every school should have a school management committee as per the Act. Section 21 provides for this thing. This community involvement is there in committees, which is formal in nature, and these committees are mandatory in every school, and this composition of committees is such that it is represented by parents and community members, and highest percentage of representation is given to parents, that is 75% of the representation on the committee will be by parents, and there are specific duties and the rights of the committees which have been specified in the Act. So, this was the, all about formal and informal involvement of the parents. But what will be the nature of contribution of parents as a community in the school? This will happen in two forms, by being members of the committees in a formal manner or by providing the volunteer service. So, by being the member, they will contribute in school management committee through giving a valuable suggestion. This is the nature, they will give the suggestions and it will be implemented by the school committee. It will help in preparing the effective school development plan, and also this contribution is there in implementation of the school development plan also. They play also a role of bridge between the school and the community, and different authorities at different levels also are represented in the school, and they can connect this community at various platforms with the schools. So, volunteer services are provided by the parents, that is the nature of their contribution, and through that they can spend quality time with the children and they can teach them a variety of skills in schools. So, they volunteer their services when a teacher is not available at school. So, this is broadly the nature of contribution of parents as a community. But what are the ways in which parents can affect school positively? Parents supervise the students' performance time to time through parent-teacher meetings held regularly by the schools or any time whenever it is required. This is all to enhance the child's academic performance. Wherever children are lacking or lagging, so that can be taken care of through these meetings. So, teachers also can be motivated by the parents' appreciation and respect. When the teachers are doing good work and the parents appreciate their work, naturally it will act as a kind of motivation. Otherwise, it will lead to a kind of disappointment for those who are really doing good job. And parents' cooperation is very much essential, and it is an influencing factor in determining schools academic achievement, and it includes children's academic achievement as well. The other ways of involvement or that affect the school positively are that the parents can give innovative ideas and suggestions in making a school development plan, and parents' motivations and encouraging attitude towards the school teachers lead them or even administrators in a positive direction. Their own word also, that means children, will also develop a kind of sense of responsibility towards his or her academic performance as well as the school environment, because when the parents and teachers are discussing, they will realize the importance of the involvement of both parents and the school or the teachers in their academic performance. What is the role and significance of parental involvement in a school? What exactly it will contribute? Before that, I will just throw some light on the difference between parents' engagement and parents' involvement. Difference here to be known is engagement and involvement. So, engagement is in fact the result of a passive acceptance of school's values and object. Means engagement is the result of a passive acceptance of school's values and objectives, and it helps increase the process to a point, whereas involvement is the active pursuit of these objectives. Unless and until there is involvement of the parents in the school, there cannot be engagement. The moment they are involved, they are passively accepting the school's values and objectives. When parents and teachers involve, both share a responsibility for working together to help their children to learn and meet educational goals and achievements that would be beneficial to all, that is students, teachers and the parents. All will be happy when engagement is there, and that is the significance. Teachers hold the main position, and primary responsibility of theirs is to set educational goals, but at the same time parents also can facilitate the achievement of these goals. Without the parents' cooperation, this realization of educational goals is not possible. So, parent involvement in schools is the first step to parent engagement. The moment they are coming to school, the moment they are participating in some events or activities, it means they are engaging themselves. It means they are passively accepting the values and objectives of the school. Ultimately, it will lead to parent school partnership, which will help in realization of the educational goals. When parents involve, teachers have to provide learning resources or information about their students' grades. As long as there is no problem, there is no involvement, that will be different situation. But when the parents involve, teachers have to take it seriously by way of helping the students through provision of required resources, or even by providing information to the parents about the students' grades. Parents make a commitment to prioritizing their child's educational goals, and it will be the teacher's responsibility to listen to them and provide a space for collaboration with the parents, so that the prioritize the objectives of the parents towards their children's education are streamlined or promoted towards realization. When parents and teachers work together and mutually to create a blossoming classroom, the effect on their students becomes reflective, because the classroom atmosphere will be more appealing, interesting and attractive. In such a situation, naturally students also will become reflective. So, students and parents make their contribution for their students' development as well as schools' development. Effects of parental involvement. Naturally, with any involvement there will be positive and negative effects. As far as positive effects are concerned, research reveals that parents' involvement gives a kind of security feeling in their wards, and they do well in every area. And also the caregivers, that is the parents, become a learning resource, as they can easily do lots of arrangements like water supply, raising funds for any particular school program. Similarly, they may easily become a type of a bridge between the schools and the other stakeholders. Parents are already stakeholders, children are there, and there are other stakeholders who are supporting the school in different ways, and with them the parents will act as a bridge between the school. And sometimes mother's influence can be very helpful, especially in certain sensitive areas like using sanitary napkins for health and hygiene, dealing adolescents' behavior, health and hygiene, and gender sensitization among their wards. There are certain negative effects, of course, because too much interference by parents hampers the students' academic and cultural freedom, which is actually essential for the child's school life. Unless and until there is required freedom, children cannot progress smoothly. So, this too much of interference certainly will be a negative effect. There is not always a win-win situation when parents involved in school, because the parents always support and assist the schooling process, but sometimes it is not amenable for them to give support in certain situations. So, if there are certain minor issues also, they may become more and more sensitive, because that may not be an issue for the teachers. They may think that it is an issue that can be ignored by them, but for parents it will be very serious, and they will become more sensitive towards their words than school staff. For example, if a teenage girl is there, and if a teenage boy is there, and teenage boy is always looking at the girl is feeling uncomfortable, and if it is brought to the notice of the teachers may ignore, because okay, it is their the age teenage, so it can be ignored, but the concern of the girl and the parents will be totally different. In such matters, naturally the parents will take more serious view of it, and they will be more concerned about it. Then what actually are the global effects of the parents' involvement? Research studies have proven the immense impact of parents' involvement on their wards education and many more. For example, the global effects can be as follows. Children are able to adapt well to school processes and school environment, because that is general thing, but it all will be influenced by the parents' involvement. They attend the school more seriously and regularly also, because parents are there who are involving in such matters, and they are consistent in doing their homework and assignments, because parents are consistently involving in their work. Improvement in achievement level as well as grades are also possible with the parents' involvement. In general, they gain better social skills where the parents are involved in school, and they have less chance of dropout from the school, because even if the child does not attend the school for one day and it comes to the notice of the parents, and the parents take it seriously, then it will not lead to dropout, and it will have improved behavioral changes. Involvement of the parents will lead towards that thing, and parental involvement will lead to better understanding and better relationship with the parents themselves and peers, and also the teachers, and they will have higher self esteem. Now, towards the conclusion, I must state that the parents and the students are the main stakeholders of the system. There is a paramount need and significance of the parental involvement in a school, and there is a statutory mandate for parental involvement in a school by way of representation in statutory committees, and these parents can involve in formal and informal forms of participation, and involvement plays significant role in school's development as well as the children's progress, and there are many ways in which parents can affect the school positively, and there are positive and negative effects of parental involvement in a school. The parental involvement makes a significant contribution to school processes, school environment and children's progress. I thank you very much for your patience in viewing this session.